After graduating from Kirksville, Missouri State Teachers College in 1931, Gene became a professional baseball catcher with a good bat. His brother Earl was an outstanding pitcher and played alongside Gene. They were known as Lankup Pitch, Lankup Catch. Gene played 3 years in the minor leagues before having a heartbreaking career-ending arm injury. It was a magical time to be in professional baseball, barnstorming against the best Major League and Negro League professionals. He caught the great Dizzy Dean and played against perhaps the greatest pitcher of all time, Satchel Paige.
Barnstorming games were big business as far back as the late 1800s, attracting thousands of fans in towns across the country and providing a chance for African American players to show off their major league talents. For 9 innings, these games allowed blacks and whites to play by the same rule.
Dizzy Dean comes on the scene 1929, turning pro. He's custom made for the Depression. He has the great rags to riches story, kid from the backwoods who comes into the big leagues. He's the premier strikeout pitcher in Major League Baseball.
The most celebrated of all black baseball stars was a tall, gangly pitcher of indeterminate age, Leroy Satchel Paige. Born and raised in Mobile, Alabama, he honed his skills in reform school. A natural showman, he drew black baseball's biggest crowds for 22 years. He may have been the greatest pitcher of all time. On the mound, one rueful batter remembered, Satchel Paige threw fire. He had a whole arsenal of distinctive pitches. His B-ball, jump ball, trouble ball, long tom, his hesitation pitch.
Satchel Paige was a megastar. He was certainly the biggest attraction outside the major leagues, and he appeared in countless exhibition games.
You know, he could come out and he would get a tiny matchbook, and where other people were warming up over the giant home plate, he would put that matchbook down and he would rear back 100 miles an hour and he would throw right over the top of that matchbook because he had that excellent control and that blazing speed. And he'd take that windmill windup, man, it was one of the most beautiful things, kick that leg up, and he would just lay them in there like you've never seen before.
He kicked his leg impossibly high before pitching. Then he'd throw around that foot. Half the guys, one victim remembered, were hitting at that foot coming up. They rarely hit the ball at all. When playing hometown teams, Paige liked to guarantee to strike out the first 9 men up. Then he would call in the outfield and make good on his promise. Because black baseball was played in so many places, and because few black teams had the money to pay someone to keep score, no one knows precisely how many games he won. Paige himself estimated that he pitched in 2,500 games and won 2,000 of them, 4 times the major league record.
In his rookie season sitting on the bench, Gene watched all the veterans on his team step in the bucket against the legendary Satchel Paige, who threw lightning rods as baseballs. These veterans did not want to get hit by one of Satchel's fastballs, which would have knocked them out of the lineup and their job during the Great Depression. So nobody on Gene's team was stepping into the ball against Satchel Paige. Hell, hardly anyone could even see the ball that Satchel threw. Some said you had to start your swing before Satchel even released the ball if you wanted to hit it. In the 8th inning, with the score tied 0-0, the manager said, "Lankup, get in there. Let's see what you can do." Gene was more than nervous and would have been glad to have stayed on the bench in this case. He took a couple of pitches just to see if he could see Satchel's fastball, which he called a white streak coming at you. Then Gene stepped into the next pitch, connected with that streak, and hit a line drive double off Satchel, his team's first hit of the game. He would later in the inning score the winning run for his team's 1-0 victory over Satchel Paige's team. Gene always admitted he never saw that pitch Satchel threw him. Gene Lankup was a natural leader and a man of great action. In addition to his very successful business career and being an always loving husband and father, he was president of many organizations. With the Southwest Ex-Pro Baseball Players Association, Gene helped establish the Showcase Games, where college and professional scouts came to the Texas Rangers stadiums for a full weekend to view local high school baseball players that had been overlooked. Over $1 million of college scholarships and many professional careers were produced from this organization's efforts. On June 26, 1999, the Showcase Games were dedicated to Gene Linecup for his many years of distinguished service and his past presidency. Dorothy was asked to throw out the first pitch, and Jimmy was asked to catch it. Dorothy, at age 85, threw an absolute perfect strike belt high down the middle of the plate. I know, I caught it. No man there that day could have done that. Everyone agreed.